Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that?
Wasn't me, Coach. Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Get off our lawn.
Welcome to the Straight Red Card and my new mic cord, and no technical issues whatsoever.
Second show with it, yeah.
Yes, second show. Just want to thank everybody who showed up for the first show. There was a lot of you. It's the most of you we've ever had at one time. I mean, we could have thrown a big ass party and we would have gone home broke. Brett and I, had it been an actual real in-person party where we had to provide the beverages and the food. But thank you for showing up for that.
Everybody
party.
gets Coors Light. It's the only thing we can afford for that many people.
Coors Light. That's an embarrassment, but you're right. Kevin Paulette starts
PBR,
off.
maybe? PBR?
Yeah. So I used to drink that when I was an indie rocker. Still am, according to my record label. Kevin Paulette says, "Welcome to the Straight Red Card." No, welcome to the Straight Red Card. I guess he's French. I don't know. Sponsored by KY Jelly. One of the few times we are going Dutch is encouraged by the masses. That's my best French impersonation.
You know, being from France, I would have imagined that you would have a better accent than that, Derek.
Yeah, I mean, Pete thinks I'm from France. He calls me Derek Riche. Derek Riche. The turd in the background. This one I know how to do.
Sorry, my dog ripped ass and it stinks in here now.
Did he? Well, at least he didn't shit. Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Let's beat the Dutch. I'm currently ordering a staffer to edit their flags as we speak. I don't think you can really edit their flag that much. There's no symbol on it. Oh, my wife bought a bunch of KY for her and her personal trainer. You and your
Kevin's a Hoosier.
And Valparaiso, by the way, is another French name. So Kevin's
French accent makes sense now.
It does. He's inherited it from his ancestors.
I guess the last name alone itself is probably why he went French, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, the French settled Valparaiso. I believe that is a French name. I know Lafayette is, but that was probably named after the Revolutionary War, French Revolutionary War officer who came over and worked with us to win the Revolutionary War. He's very famous. Look him up, Lafayette. All right.
Yeah, that was a character in The Patriot, wasn't it? I don't know if that was his name though.
Yes, it was a character in that movie that was not historical.
Nothing to do with anything.
Nothing. I mean, some of the battlefields were kind of set up.
They used muskets.
They had muskets. The artillery fire was a complete joke. Back then,
are you claiming that they don't explode?
They do not explode. Correct.
They do not explode. There was a scene where a guy got his leg ripped off because the ball came bouncing through. Yes, accurate.
Yes, that's accurate. Gettysburg got it right with the bouncing metal ball going 120 miles per hour.
There was a couple of scenes. One guy got his leg ripped off. I think another guy got his head ripped off on the Patriot because of bouncing balls.
Well, then that's real. That's correct.
But there are plenty of them where they do go.
You're like, that's not how that works. And it didn't work that way in the Civil War either, unless they were doing, there were different things you could put in a cannon. But that round shot, when you're firing an infantry, the bouncing, basically bowling ball was the norm. You didn't fire explosives at if you had the shrapnel-based ones, yes, but you didn't. Cannons didn't come with a whole lot of those. Those were used for very specific things. And then you had grape shot, which you put in when they got really close, and that was basically just a bag of fucking balls.
Anything you could throw in there?
Yeah, just a bag of fucking metal balls. It was like a machine gun with one shot, or a shotgun.
Apparently, Pete had his special lady friend on the Germany-Costa Rica stream earlier.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
How was she?
Well, we have a couple things here. He says, "Nice job, Pete."
Oh,
Bandit wasn't a big fan, I guess. Bandit said she was cringe.
Why, Bandit? Why would she cringe? That doesn't seem like a very nice thing to say.
Yeah, cringe as fuck, apparently. Yeah.
Well, they're in California. What do you expect? 70% of the population is cringe, including 90%, 95% of all the actors. So, I mean, you're really, it's a cringe state, basically, with a lot of cringy people who are very self-important.
Nope. We have a different opinion here.
She loved all the sexual OnlyFans jokes. Hey,
well
she's
done,
sounding
guys.
better.
It sounds like our chat went into Pete's chat.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well done if any of you were a part of that.
Adam gave her a 10. She's the dime piece, apparently.
A 10 in looks and personality. Adam, you got to put those things together.
Apparently she's good in it with us.
Nobody wants to be around an unfunny, bitchy, fucking good-looking chick. She's got to have a sense of humor, got to be witty. All those things got to go with the good looks, because the good looks, we've all been with girls.
Sounds like Pete has a winner.
So, we've been with girls that have been good looking. All of us have. They're not all people you want to hang out with more than one night. All right.
And Bandit's just not a fan.
All right. Well, Bandit, break down your 6 for us. Let us know why it was a 6. But so far, between the 6 and the 10, we've got an 8. All right. And that's not half bad for Pete. Not that Pete's not a good looking guy. Certainly he's not my type, but not many guys that have hair on their chest are. All right.
I was going to say, how many guys are your type?
Yeah, I can't think of one right now. I'm trying to, because I was going to make a joke, but I couldn't think of one. All right. What do we want to do? What else we got before we hit the?
I was trying to think of the real famous porn star actor's name. I can't think of it right now.
Long Dong Silver?
No. Not Peter North, obviously our benefactor, but
right. Peter, thank you for the checks. Thanks for funding the show. There's so many. John Holmes.
No. It's the real famous guy that got really super fat and kind of, I think he ended up going to jail because
Ron Jeremy.
Ron Jeremy. I was going to say, is Ron Jeremy your type?
Hell no.
But the joke is long gone past, so we'll just move on.
Jeremy, big fat self-cock sucking motherfucker. All right.
When you got a big dick, I mean, it works.
He's gross. He's disgusting. He's always been gross, even when he was thin. All right.
He was a straight, like the stereotypical 70s porn star look, 80s porn star look, the mustache,
That's more 70s. When he got fat, that's more 80s and 90s.
Still fat.
He wasn't fat in the 70s. He really wasn't. He was just hairy. He was hairy as fuck. Dirk Diggler was based on a character I play in real life. All right. Where else are we going with this? Where do you want to start tonight? Because we got this
transfer rumors. Of course, this is where we always start. Derek, this is the best part of the year when we can talk about players on the move.
Most of these are so 90% bullshit, Brett. I
guess
on the show.
In fairness, this one's not an actual insert player going to insert team here. It's just talking about a player's status at a club.
With no insertion involved. All right. An asking price of $35 million to sell Christian Pulisic has been mooted. Yes, they used the word corrected, not muted.
Muted. It's been muted. I don't know what you're talking about.
As it stands, Pulisic has no desire to extend, and Todd Bowley and Baydad Bahali have 2 windows to recoup significant value for a player who they signed for $48 million. Well, suck it up, motherfuckers.
58.
They got plenty of money. They're gonna be fine.
I thought Foley went for a lot more than 58. Well, although maybe that was the American value at the time.
Mm-hmm.
That might have been it.
I think there were also bonuses and other things included, which he got for the first couple seasons, I think.
Mooted?
Mooted. Moot.
LOL, mute point.
Not a mute point, a moot point. Thanks, Chris, for pointing that out. Yes, there is a word called moot. Look it up. And it means canceled. In fact, when I was a kid in New York, you didn't come up to somebody and say, hold your hand out to shake their hand and go, up, psych. You didn't do that. You said, up, moot, moot, moot. That's just what people did out in the Northeast. That's what they did out in the Northeast. I don't know what to tell you. This is specifically when I lived at West Point, near the United States Military Academy where my dad taught.
It means it's a non-point.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. What do we got next? And ask blah, 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 blah. Already read that one. Already screwing with me. Here we go. At Straight Red Card. Is this something worth discussing or just a coincidence?
Thanks,
Asked
Fred W.
Chambers.
Appreciate that.
David Gass. UEFA installed the Nations League in 2018, and in the first World Cup since the UEFA teams have struggled against since then. I guess they struggled against, all those nations. I mean,
anybody not from the greater continent of Europe.
Yeah, I guess. Have to wonder if they've insulated the federation to the lowest common denominator. Haven't we all? Even CONCACAF with their Nations League. If that's the case, we're doing the same thing, and we're having to play shittier teams who think we would be worse. So, I mean,
I guess the way you can look at it is that we have such a vast variety of style of teams. Now, I'm not saying Europe doesn't by any means, but I mean, Canada plays completely different than we play. We play different than Mexico plays. I mean,
you could argue that the top European teams in groups A, B, or C, or however they're setting that up, are always playing each other, right? So maybe that wears them out. I don't know. That could be an argument, but
I don't know. Maybe they're just used to that because maybe they're just used to that same style. The Champions League style of play, like where they're all familiar with each other and stuff like that. But then all of a sudden you have a Japan thrown in there, and it's completely different. You have a Morocco thrown in there, and you're not ready for it.
Well, let's see. If you had a group of England, Germany, Netherlands, and name another team,
Italy.
Yeah, they do play a lot alike. They do. They're very similar.
There's differences, yes.
Oh, there are differences.
But I think a lot. There's definitely some differences.
It's not night and day.
Yeah.
It's not the difference between a clean asshole and a dirty one. There is, there's slight differences. All right. Hope we go to the 2024 Copa America. Yeah,
I think we are. I think Mexico and U.S. were part of it, and I think Canada just recently got invited.
Canada might want to rethink that after this World Cup performance.
Fuck that. In their books, they need to take on these challenging teams more often.
And Lawless lapping them up and saying, well, they'll be back. Canada's stronger than ever. No, they're still just going to have 3 good players. They're going to have to fill in all the other spots still because a lot of those players are old.
It's funny because Tex said something along the same lines of basically Canada is basically just an MLS squad with 3 designated players.
Exactly. They got 3 now. Luckily, a lot of those players are young.
Yeah.
Stockio is not that young, but young enough. He'll be back. Davies and who's the other one up top?
Blair.
Yes.
And yeah.
Well,
So,
and the
Davids.
Yeah, and
Davids.
I don't know.
I don't know.
He's French. Could be Davids. I don't know. David.
Yeah.
Jonathan David, I think is how it's
I think
pronounced.
it's David, yeah.
So, they got 3 or 4 guys that are going to be strong going for, but a lot of their guys, look at Vittoria. He's gone. He's old as fucking crumbs. Half of that team are going to be gone. And then they're going to seriously, going to have more MLS players. So, we'll see what happens.
But yeah. So the text post, he basically talked about how the narrative's being shifted is the only reason that Canada went out is because they had a harder group than the United States. And yes, probably was hard. So not quite like that, though. My response was a picture of a guy holding a very tiny violin and playing it.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, that's what happens when your fucking FIFA ranking is so low. You get stuck in the 4th pot. That's just how it works. They should have started playing better earlier. They waited until qualifying. And then it's too late because they were so far down in the rankings because they played like shit. Let's be honest. I mean, they didn't play that well leading up to qualifying. Pot 4, bitch. Exactly, David D. You said it properly, and I hope I fucking enunciated it the way you would like it.
There's no question mark there, so it's not pot 4, bitch?
No.
No.
No, it's none of that. All right, let's move on. Next slide, please. I took a gander at Pulisic sack and they are bluer than a Smurf. Listen, Michael Cameraman, stay away from Pulisic's balls. I think you've done enough damage in this World Cup already.
Derek, there was no innuendo in that statement he just made. It's just how it is.
Well, Pulisic pointed out pretty clearly today he did not have a ball smashing incursion.
Do you just want to play that clip real quick?
Yeah, let's do it because he made it very clear his ball sack did not suffer. That his man marbles were
you know what I say? I call
involved.
Bullshit.
I don't know, and I explained in the last show why I didn't think he got hit in the nuts. And the fact is, if you got slammed in the nuts that hard, you hold on to those fucking marbles a lot longer than he did. No, he held them for like a second and then put his hands above his head. And
I will say one thing about that injury. When he took the hit and he went down, he didn't roll around like 12 times.
No, because
he hit the ground and he was
in pain.
So
he was in actual pain.
I always bring this up because whenever you see somebody hit the ground, like in a foul, and they do like 4 or 5 somersaults back and forth.
Yeah,
I'm like, he's not fucking hurt.
You're not really that hurt.
He might have a small ding there, but come on.
No, shit, dude. When shit really hurts, you have nothing else to focus on but that pain. Rolling thing, that's off the mark. That's off the books at that point.
They described Blanco when he was at Chicago. I forgot who did it on the one of the broadcasts. He's like, yeah, it's like if he gets fouled and he rolls once, yeah, he probably took a hit. If he rolls twice, it wasn't that big, and if he rolls 3 times or more, then you know it's bullshit.
Exactly, and that's how that goes. Yep. Yeah, I think in this case, he didn't roll at all.
No. He hit the ground. His arms went in between his body and the ground, and it stayed there.
And if it had been his nutsack, he would have held it longer. Trust me, he would have held it longer. I've been hitting the nutsack pretty hard. I can tell you, I held them. Yeah, I cradled them for at least a few minutes before I said, "Okay, I think I can go on now." So, it's painful. It really is.
God, my only time, the worst time I've ever experienced on that was I was playing goalkeeper in a futsal match as an adult. Much older me.
Bigger target.
And the owner of the sports complex was playing against us, and he had a fucking rocket, and he nails a futsal ball, much smaller, rock size ball.
Yep.
Right into the man marbles. I stopped it. I saved it, and I'm one hand. I'm like army crawling off to the side, and people on my teammates are laughing their asses off. First off,
but you just got grazed.
Yeah, I took the ball straight to the sack.
No,
and so I'm army crawling off with one hand, and my brother's like, "Dude, you need a sub?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, please."
Did you just see me take it squarely in the nutsack? So I don't think this was too much information. I think it was something he just wanted to get off of his testicles. I mean, his chest. So here we go.
All right. Well, here's the clip, and we'll stop after the question, just so we don't get dinged by FIFA or USSF.
You mean cocksuckers 1 and 2?
But can you tell us what exactly you were feeling when you woke up the next morning after the game, for example, and what exactly a pelvic contusion is?
Did that sound like Sam to an extent?
Is this guy an idiot?
My volume down. I don't know.
That cannot be Sam. I'm sorry. It did not sound like Sam.
I don't think it's Sam, but no.
Sam would not ask that question. He's basically intimating that a pelvic contusion is a fucking ball sack crushing incident.
Oh, Michael goes into it, yeah.
The next morning after the game, for example, and what exactly a pelvic
that's
contusion
not Sam.
is.
Oh, turn the background. Turn the backgrounds in the right. Pieces like
it's a pelvic contusion.
I mean, it's a pelvic contusion.
Look it up, dickhead.
It's not a euphemism, Henry.
It's not a
euphemism for a ball sack. No, it is not. The
pelvic contusion is apparently he got hit in the nuts. Medical terminology.
Jesus Christ. What are people thinking? I think a lot of people wanted him to get hit in the nuts. I think that would be funnier, but he didn't get hit in the nuts. I'm telling you what, if that knee hit his actual ball sack and squash those things like grapes, he'd probably not playing Saturday.
No. He would have been under the knife, man.
Exactly.
Reaching up into his throat, trying to pull the balls back down.
And then when they pulled them down, they had to sew them back in place. So no, I mean,
No.
Annie would have a much higher voice than this. Let's be honest.
I wasn't hitting the sack, guys. Come on.
The testes are
So it
fine.
sound like Mike Tyson or something.
You guys are really making a big deal out of nothing. They're fine.
That's what it sounds like.
No, but at the same time, it's not. Like, I didn't get like hit in the balls, but like it's not like I'm all right. I'm all right. It was
You
very
should have said
painful.
ball sack. That would have been better.
No, but I mean, if he wasn't as polished of a professional as he is, most people would have just said, "I didn't get hit in the nuts, man."
I mean,
That's
he
what
could
I
have
would
said.
have said. I would have said that.
He
My
could
man
have
marbles
said
are fine,
nuts,
you know.
man marbles. He could have said my
Twig and giggleberries.
my twins, my golden nuggets. He could have come up with all kinds of things. He could have named them something.
So it's being broadcast all over Twitter and stuff like that. So I guess Brer here didn't actually see the clip.
My manberries,
McNuggets.
my McNuggets, my plums are fine.
My plums. There's a I forgot the movie itself, but there's a Will Ferrell, a character Will Ferrell plays in a movie where he talks about it. His plums.
Yeah,
I
mean,
laugh so hard at that.
use
Like,
the plums, man.
plums.
Go for it. I mean, anything I think would have been really man marbles would have worked for me, but it's a good time to break out the synonym book.
You could have gone legit and just said my cock and balls are good, guys. Don't worry about that.
Now my balls are a bit bruised, but the cock is still intact. I don't know what I'm going to do with it now that I have no balls, but what the hell? Unlimited and power are fine.
It is official, guys. This is going to go down in the lore. Pulisic has named his testicles Unlimited and Power.
All right. What else?
The Family Jewels. That's a classic.
That's a classic. That would have worked.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's pretty much that for that. Let's see. We don't want to spoil anything else by clicking on stuff.
My buttered walnuts.
So
Sorry,
Derek,
what- Yep.
have you watched the Japan and Spain match?
I am watching it currently right now, and it is 1-0 España.
España, huh?
And
The
we are
scoreline
31
changes.
minutes in.
Scoreline
Uh-huh.
changes.
You're going to ruin this for
I'm
me.
going to
aren't
ruin a play, not the
Okay.
game. Not gonna
Okay.
no scoreline pops up here,
you? All right.
but apparently there's a goal that
Mhm.
Japan scores, and the goal was given,
Mhm.
but then they're like had to go through VAR to find out if the ball was out of bounds. Okay,
Okay.
is the ball out of bounds?
Out of bounds. Yes,
Yes.
it is. Yes, it is. At least from this angle.
Thank you. Okay, you covered your grounds nicely there.
I wouldn't know what it would look like from above, but from this angle, it obviously looks out. But then look at the shadow of the ball. Look at the shadow.
Spherical. I mean, you got to.
Yeah. You see how it's got like maybe an inch on the line there?
We got an out. Jonathan
It's
says
not-
it's out.
Now, look at the shadow of the ball. Look at the shadow of the ball. Yeah.
I'm waiting for some of the chat. Yes, yeah, this is a wild match to watch, by the way. Or this was wild to watch, is what he says. Yeah. So
That looks like
so-
it could be into me.
you'll see the play later. The ball comes back inbounds, if you will, and Japan scores a goal.
Okay.
So
That angle's
we got
impossible.
it was an in. Gary Busey says Gary Busey, sorry.
Very in?
He says very much in. Very in.
I don't think
So-
that's this
Well-
is not John Holmes in. This is like sliding out here. I
There
think
we go.
that's
Here's a
real.
better view. Note the green between the ball and the line. The ball's edge is still over the line. Hence, the play is in, and it is a good goal. Hasn't crossed the plane.
Holy crap. We're talking millimeters.
No, that like it couldn't get any more. Just in, you know. It was-
We're talking
Good
blades
God.
of grass here.
You know,
That's crazy.
but without the technology to say stop this play down and look at it, or just from an aerial view itself. I mean, even purely on the goal line. I mean, if it was on the goal line, it might be a smidge more over. Yeah, everybody has the right idea here. You know, it's by cunt's hair, by pussy hair. You know, it's a game of inches. Just ask Pulley.
Very true, my friend. He could
So this
soprano.
This results in a goal. Sorry to ruin the game for you.
It's only 34 minutes in here.
But there's other video evidence of why the angles make a difference. So I mean, clearly the ball is over the line, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that's what it looks like from this angle.
You go over top. It's on the line.
Yep. I like
but
this.
This is a great demonstration.
Yep.
This was by James Maw.
I mean, when you played the game, I think most people thought when I played in high school, if the part of the ball that touches the ground was over the line, then the ball was out. But that's not true, because the ball is bigger than it's the part that's touching the ground. So you can have it touching the ground over the line completely and touching the ground, but have the other ass half of the ball still be hanging over part of the line. Is that what we're saying here?
Yeah. But Graf does come up because he's a big out proponent here. He does say, why don't we use the same technology that they use for offside? Great question, because they can get that down to again a cunt's hair.
Yeah.
So, great question. Don't know.
I don't know about you, but most of my girlfriends shave their pussies. So I don't know about this.
Yeah, you were talking about how you like the anime porn before the show started.
Yes, I was. Anime porn. I'm all up in that. I don't even know what it is, but I hear it involves young-looking characters, and that seems rather gross to me. But hey, whatever gets you off.
Yeah.
They are make-believe. They're fucking, I guess they're cartoon characters.
They're fucking right.
They're from another universe, so I guess they could be whatever age you want them to be. But no, that's fine. How many girlfriends did you have, Derek? Do you have? Well, none now. None now. I'm done with girls. Basically, it's just me and Lefty here at this point. But I had my fair run, my friend, except for that part where I was married for 10 years or 11 years or so.
Well, you only had 3 during that time period, right?
No, I didn't have any girlfriends. I was pretty loyal, pretty goddamn loyal for that time period. But prior to that, I was pretty much, I made my way around the block. Just ask anybody that knew me in high school. Well, I'll probably tell you what my reputation was. It wasn't good.
Just guys now, huh? Or just men now, huh, Derek?
Just this man right here, Lefty.
Just guys and dolls.
Dolls and guys. Guys, I'm just telling you, at some point you will get tired of not all of you will. Some of you
unless you're in a nice committed relationship that works.
Yes, some of you will be married until, like my parents
aren't always in our favor, though.
My parents are married. They've been married for fucking a goddamn forever, and they're in their 70s, and they like it. And my mom,
they're not on social media.
And when I tell my mom I have no interest of ever being married again, or even having a girlfriend again, she just doesn't understand. She says things like, "But you'll die alone." I said, "Everyone dies alone. Who fucking cares about that? We all come in alone. We all go out alone. Trust me. That's how it works." All right.
Statistics prove that single non-married guys actually live longer than married guys.
Well, I'm non-married now, and I'm single, so hopefully that guy. I did fucking spend a significant portion of my life married, which did wear me the fuck out mentally and existentially. But I'm back, and
you always have us.
I'm stronger than ever, guys, because of guys like you and gals like you. I know there's so many gals out there watching this show right now. And I want to say thank you for hanging in there with us. And I don't mean hanging in the same way that Pulisic's nuts hung in there. I mean hanging in there with us and, putting up with our shit. All right, what do we got? What's next?
Well, Derek, we have your article you pulled up here.
That's not an article I wrote. It's an article.
Pulled up here.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those really massively defensive articles, kind of like whiny. And it's by a guy named Mike DeCourcy, who I don't know. He wasn't around 10 years ago when I was doing journalism. So I don't know who he is. I think he does football and basketball too. So, I'm sure he's a fucking football expert. And his article was really about defending Greg, pretty much. The whole article was like, hey, quit bitching, motherfuckers. And if we scroll down, there is a paragraph that starts out with the words, nothing Berhalter has accomplished. There it is. He says, nothing Berhalter has accomplished has pleased a certain fucking commercials, a loud component of the U.S. fan base. They're loud, but they're not right, is what he's going to say. Perhaps this is inevitable in sports today. We have evolved from someone needing to get through a call screener and onto the air of a sports radio talk show in order to publicly express an opinion that may or may not be informed, oh my God, to one needing only to post that declaration on social media form. Well, grow up, motherfucker. That's where we are. And no, I'm not a big fan of having a big wall that people got to run over or jump over, because on fucking talk shows back on radio days, they always have their favorite people who called in. They always, fucking just like Brett does here. He's always bringing up the same motherfuckers in the comments section.
Not always the same.
But the difference
first time listener, long time listener, first time caller.
The difference is you have no control what goes in the chat for the most part.
Yeah.
So everybody has a platform. You're just picking the ones you like, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's different because the guys that are calling on the radio shows, they got hung up on. Mm-hmm. All right, no one heard a fucking word they ever had to say. So this whole gatekeeper, thank you, John Hurt, is indeed a crybaby thing, and I am sick of this. You can see the mentality inside of this guy's head. This is the kind of guy that thinks there needs to be gatekeepers. What is that? That's elitism. Go fucking suck a brick, motherfucker. Don't write shit like this. I hate these guys. Gatekeeper guys.
It's the concept of people getting butthurt, the fact that they can no longer control their echo chamber.
Right.
And now everybody has a voice, and everybody can be heard, everybody can be seen, everybody can make points, and people can latch on to what they want to, or debate and argue, or sometimes just bitch out. Talking points they don't like.
He's outraged that a guy like Tact might have more of an audience than his little prick gatekeeping shit does. Fuck you, Mr. McCrory. Sorry, DeCourcy or whatever the fuck your stupid name is. I hate this. I hate that whole paragraph. I wish it didn't exist because it's so butthurt. It's so obviously butthurt. And I'm sick of this elitism. This is literally saying only elite should be able to say their opinion, bro. Probably thinks only 1% should be allowed to vote. He's probably not far off there.
Yeah.
I'm sure he believes at least 50% of this country should not be allowed to vote. He's probably one of those pricks. But that's not how this works. Not how any of this works. None of it. And it shouldn't work that way. And everyone should have a voice. That's why it's fucking America, man. All right. And then if we scroll down to the part where he says starts the 11 players. There it is. The 11 players the U.S. men's national team started in its crucial World Cup group against Iran was the youngest fielded by the program in more than 30 years. This is when this guy goes total balls out Michael Cameraman on this article. Experience matters. But okay, then we go to the next one. Here we go. I'm going to read it as if he was Michael Cameraman. Berhalter has a record of 26 wins and 5 losses and 10 draws since the start of the decade, which means he's earned a result from 88% of the games in competitive games during the period. He has 17 wins, 3 losses, and this is repulsive. Why don't you just rub Michael Cameraman's nutsack all over this article? I mean, seriously. And then you go down and he
talking
says
about him and there he is. Thank you.
I helped him write it. Yes. And then if we see in this part, also at the end of the sentence, it says he's been 10 wins, 4 losses, and 7 draws. And 81%, read it, success rate. By the way, motherfucker, that's not a success rate in soccer, you dumb fucking moron. Wins are, draws are just considered and losses are bad. Okay,
Well,
so no, draws aren't successes.
We're going to bounce up and clarify what the 10, 4, and 7 actually are. It's against opponents who have qualified for the 2022 World Cup. Well, we played 3 of them like 800 times.
Exactly.
We played Canada, Costa Rica, and Mexico. How many times?
Not to mention some of the other Caribbean nations. This is a joke, right?
Well, they didn't qualify for the World Cup, though, so that's why I said those 3.
Oh, okay. But what he's talking about is a not loss rate. He has 81% is the not loss rate. Okay, you can't consider 7 draws a success part of a success rate. No one does that.
Wait.
No one does that. I don't know anyone who does that. Do you consider a draw a success, Brett?
No.
I mean, sometimes you might.
That's taken into consideration friendlies too, man, because I was trying to think of like where the 10 wins come from.
Well, there's 21 matches and he's won 10 of them. That's less than a fucking 50% success rate. So eat my dick. Don't come up here and pour on this Michael Cameraman goddamn shit. I cannot believe people are writing articles like this, like a snobbish articles. That's what this is. Let me come to a massive defense of Greg Berhalter and just look like a moron doing it. A not loss rate is like counting times you jerked off as getting laid. I agree. You know, so okay. And if we go on and go to the very end, and the paragraph starts, the coach is being criticized for not using Reyna. I'm not making any friends here, am I? The coach is being criticized by not using
our friend anyways.
Yeah. For not using Reyna, an extremely talented player in either the England or Iran game. Once the U.S. began to have Turner play the ball long, however, Reyna was not ideally suited for that strategy. That is actually common. That's a decent thought. I'll give him credit for that one. But let me see. Where's the next one? Oh, yeah. The last closing paragraph. Berhalter managed the team he had in the circumstances it faced. He is not without fault or beyond error. Well, thank you for telling that after rubbing butter all over his fucking cock stem, the whole article. Oh, even the greatest coaches. Sir Alex Ferguson. Oh, come on. Don't even try to compare him to those guys. And Big John Thompson. I have made mistakes. Yeah. Yes, they have. But not as many as Greg made leading up to the World Cup, which gave us no hope he would change. So the fact that he has doesn't make you some fucking master because you didn't criticize him and everybody else did. Fortunately, there is a device for recognizing the success of coaches over the course of a defined period of time. It's called the scoreboard. Oh, you mean when it ends 1-1 and 0-0? That's what you mean because you call that success. You're one of those guys who think everybody gets a trophy. Fuck off. All right.
Well, I mean, let's take a game into consideration as far as a success. We'll just talk about one single game here.
England. That's a success. 0-0 is a success.
An actual success. I should have added the air quotes and verbalized it, I guess.
Yes.
The actual success is using the
0-0 versus Wales, by the way, is not a success. Not a success.
1-1.
That's a failure.
1-1.
1-1. Yeah. That's a failure. A 0-0 versus England, I would consider a mild success at best.
Well, the big difference there is we maintained the game. We held the lead for 82 minutes against Wales, and then choked up the lead. Whereas with England, we had more opportunities, chances to score. We just couldn't do it. But you know what? We stopped them too. But use the Canada game of the Gold Cup match. We scored in the first 35 seconds. And then it's an onslaught for 89 minutes plus stoppage time of them just constantly having chance after chance after chance. We had nothing the rest of that game.
Right.
Looking at that, that was a win. That's a success, but it's not a success. I mean, yes, technically it is. But the game was such absolute garbage that nobody could have watched that and be like, woo, man, chalk that up. Put that on the chalkboard. Man, look at that.
This guy does what Michael Cameraman could not do. Or couldn't do, and he's not succeeding either. He's taking all context and all critical thought out of looking at Berhalter's tenure as the United States men's national team manager. You can't do that. Not even you, Mike
Wazowski.
DeCourcy.
There
You
DeCourcy.
you can't do that to the rest of us, okay? You're not allowed to, and we're not going to let you. You can write all these articles you want. You can suck as much Berhalter cock as you can possibly pound down your throat, but it's not going to make a difference in the end. Lisa Summers, they don't watch the games. They only look at score sheets. I believe you, Lisa, and I think you're right, and I'm really sick of these kind of defensive articles.
The stat sheet shows that we held 62% of the ball, so clearly we won despite the fact that we lost.
England had a great game versus us. They had more shots, and they possessed more of the ball. They were fantastic. No, they weren't. We dominated that game. That was not a successful game for them, even though they got a tie out of it, 0-0. This guy thinks that's a success. Hey, dude, why don't you learn how to word your articles and actually think rationally about that? If you're calling ties successes, I think you're smoking too much fucking crack.
It's not a loss, Derek. And I have to make this point every time when we talk about non-soccer fans, and they're like, oh, you can tie? How can you tie in a thing? Well, it makes a difference. 1 point, 3 points, etc. But, I mean, going out there to say, like, ties is success. I mean, it can be, technically. And we utilize ties to our benefit this World Cup. But we should have won the first match. We could have easily won the second match, and we won the third match.
You'll never catch Brian Schroeder writing an article like this.
No.
Sorry. Not the good guys don't do this kind of garbage. All right.
But it was funny that you brought this article up because I did have an interaction with a mainstream sports pundit. Not an actual interaction with him, but I quote tweeted his quote and went from there. But he didn't respond to me by any means.
Okay.
But I call him Cowherd.
Oh, our good friend.
Not a good
Colin Cowherd. I like him. I mean, I like that he covers soccer, and he's the only mainstream guy that does it. Because if you watch what's his face on ESPN, what's his name?
Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen A. Smith today.
With tight shirt.
That was embarrassing. For 2 years, I've been assured by many soccer fans that Greg Berhalter is clueless. Interestingly, each fan had solutions to all his shortcomings without attending a single practice. Practice? Is he talking about practice? All right. Yet, U.S. men's national team's second youngest at World Cup just advanced out of the group stage without a loss. Hey, man, no one is saying that isn't good, but Berhalter did it by not playing Aaron Long and not playing Jesus Ferreira and not playing Roldan and not playing Morris. And everybody thought Long and Ferreira were locked in starters because Greg had showed us no other way to think about him.
I think it's extremely fascinating that we went all through qualifying with basically Ferreira and Pepe, and neither of them have found playing time at all. Obviously Pepe because he's not there, but Ferreira is sitting the bench. That's got to be some kind of an awakening in the sense that you're this important player that was getting all this playing time leading into the World Cup, but he's nowhere to be seen come World Cup.
And now look, Brett, look what's happened. Sargent could be injured. Haji Wright looked like he had a fucking brain, like a fart rattling around his brain cells last game. Who are you going to play, Ferreira? He hasn't played a minute. This is the time you would have had that fourth fucking striker instead of Christian Roldan on this team, or Morris,
or instead of Moore.
Shaq Moore, get him off the team. Put in Pepe, and you have another legitimate replacement for Wright and fucking Sargent. A legitimate replacement for those two guys. Another hybrid. And no, we don't have another hybrid now. Our hybrid's injured. If he is injured, I hope he's not. But if he is, we got no more hybrids. We got Wright, who's clueless, and we got Ferreira, who's scared. That's not good. And we could have used that extra slot for Pepe. We could have kept him engaged. He could have already had 10 or 15 minutes in this prior games, coming off the bench. Yeah. And now we got fucking Little Smurf and Frumpy Smurf. That's all we got left.
So Jesse, what if he starts Morris at the 9? He won't, because he talked about how he's never considered playing Morris at 9. Similar to how he never played or Reyna at that spot.
Right.
Basically, it's going to be Ferreira or Haji if Sargent can't play, regardless. And this would probably be more of an ideal time to say throw in a throw in somebody like Arena to play that position.
False 9,
back,
baby.
And
Go
then
for it.
look to set out you have Pulisic and Ware, who are incredible
Higher up the
speedsters.
field. And
You have Aronson,
yes.
who's an incredible speedster. You just have to have somebody who can unlock the defense by passing it through the lanes. And guess what?
Reina.
We have that.
But now Reina has barely played in this. So do you throw him out as a starter?
Yes.
I would.
I would.
You
Yes.
would. I just don't see it happening. Now, if Greg does it again, we will say so here on this show, and we will say, wow, Greg, well done. Because we have already said here multiple times, Greg has picked pretty much the best starting 11 outside of like maybe one player for every starting lineup, and every first half has been pretty good to great. So we have no criticism, but there were 2 second halves that weren't great. So that needs to be fixed because he brought in the wrong subs. So just because we're waxing positive on Greg, for one thing, doesn't mean we can't criticize him for his second half stuff. Nate says, did Greg in fact masterclass us? He's actually a genius. Laughing out loud. Guys, he's going to run a 4-4-2 again. And with Brendan Aronson away up top, can't put BA because for years I covered Bruce Arena, and that was his initials, and it fucks me up every time. With BA and Way up top and Weston and Pulisic on the wings, wide midfield, like England, if Sargent can't go. You might be right. I think we might do the 4-4-2 again. And if at least on the defense for sure. And if that happens, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say Greg made the right decision because that's what I would do at this point. Of course, Louis Van Gaal is back on the video watching what we did to England.
We don't want Bruce Arena up top, though.
I don't want him on the bottom. I don't want him on the top. I don't want to be anywhere near Bruce Arena. All right. He's a funny man.
So read my response.
And it only took changing his tactics formation at times and player personnel to do so. The way we've played the last 2 years is not how we played the last 2 weeks. Correctamundo. So everybody's saying, see, it was always going to work out. How are any of us supposed to know that Greg would suddenly come around and say, you know what, I am going to play my best 11 every single game. Outside of maybe the 9, which I haven't figured out when I played Wright versus England, but Wright wasn't horrible versus England defensively.
Let's go back to the qualifiers. Let's just jump back to April, and you have Ferrer who's not playing right now. You have Pepe who wasn't called in. Long is not playing. Who else we missed? Turner's seeing every game, and he was the number 1, despite the fact that during qualifiers, if Stefan was healthy, Stefan got to play. Who else we missing? We're missing somebody else, I'm sure. But
well, the point being,
Areola. I brought up Areola in this in one of the chats below. But Areola was a legit starter during qualifier until he injured himself, and then Weah took over, and then that's the rest of history at that point.
Yeah, Weah wasn't even supposed to start that game.
And you can look at it and say, well, during qualifiers there were a slew of injuries, and he had to bring in certain players. That's fine, but there was still a lot of question marks, and we bring up Ream all the time as an example. I mean, if we're really throwing caution to the wind, why are we looking at our defense and saying, well, this player can't play at a high line? But we haven't played a single high line this entire World Cup. We haven't played the high press.
How many times have I said that I hoped that he would have his Jurgen Klinsmann moment? And as we got closer and closer to the World Cup and during the World Cup that Jurgen Klinsmann was involved with, he suddenly stopped playing dumb setup soccer. Yeah. He said, okay, I got to be rational about this. We're not ready to be Barcelona. We're going to play in a very American way. And it worked. And it got us out of the group. Didn't get us past Belgium, but it was close outside of a miss by Wando. So, So Colin, I wouldn't be too hard on Colin, although I wish Colin would have added at the end of this, hey, man, I'm not a big soccer dude. This is just what I'm seeing.
Yeah, that would be one thing, but it just sounds like, hey, I've been told by soccer fans that he's clueless, but he's doing great. So it just sounds like he's saying, like, maybe he's not clueless. Maybe you're the one that's clueless.
I'm not sure how to explain it because he sure seemed pretty clueless. And now here we are at the World Cup, and he's making decisions we've been asking him to make. Maybe he's so smart he's saving the 4-4-2 for this World Cup.
It was all
amazing.
40, it was all 4D chess. I swear to God, he was doing all this, like making it. We struggled through qualifiers and barely got third place. We qualified, but we got third place.
I'm waiting.
The friendlies just before the World Cup sucked donkey balls, and that got thrown back in our face when Japan started beating Germany. And
I know exactly.
Oh, remember when
they beat Germany and
because
Spain? So I guess Japan aren't that bad after all. But I will say this: I'm waiting for the phone call. You're going to get it late at night one night, and it's like, "This is Brett Corbett. Yeah, this is Greg. You know that 4-4-2? I heard you say it about. I heard you say it about 8 months ago, but I just kept it in my pocket. And
and during practice, we've been practicing it hardcore. That's why we sucked at the 4-3-3.
Thanks, Brett. You're like, what the fuck?
That's just happened.
Is this a dream? It's 3 a.m. Must have been a dream. Go back to sleep. All right.
You're like, who the fuck do I know from Qatar? Huh.
Well, I'm glad he listened. We didn't expect him to. Honestly, I did not expect him to come out and play a 4-4-2 on defense for the most part. But that's shocking to me. And Greg showed no thought of doing that. And then the first game we watched, they played 3 in the back for most of the game with Dest acting as the third center back there. He just hung back whenever Anthony was a third fucking center back during that game. And that plan was totally different from the England plan. Mm-hmm. The England plan was totally different. So either Greg's better at this when he has a long time to plan, when he's sat down and watched hours of footage of Iran and England and Wales, maybe that's just what he needed, right? More time, because he's not good on his feet, but if you give him enough time to plan for a specific team, he does a good job, at least in the first half. What was the 4-4-2 lineup? What does he mean by that? He wants us to name all the players?
We kept bringing a 4-4-2. I think he's asking, when did we actually play the 4-4-2?
Yeah, versus England is when we converted. And actually, Brett told me we did it, and I said, man.
We played,
but I was wrong.
Kind of the 4-4-2 also against Wales. I mean, again, all World Cup, Pulisic's been checking back into the midfield, and you had more or less Weah and insert striker here up top.
Wales was more like a 3-4-3.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, to that point though, during that argument I had a debate with a couple of people. Again, most people I was talking back and forth to were very civil about. There are differences in agreement, how it's been played and how Berhalter's been playing it. But at no point during qualifying did we ever say respect Dest's ability of staying back, helping out the defense, and then picking his runs. Yeah. What happened during qualifying is we're all sitting there going like, man, when we get to the World Cup, Dest is going to get picked apart because he's caught up on the pitch, way up top,
Look how many times during
who's
the Wales
going to be covering
game.
Back for him.
Go back to the Wales games, folks, and watch the game. Hit pause. You'll notice it's the 2 center backs and Dest playing center back. And then when Dest does get the ball, he went through the middle. He didn't even go wide. He tried to play through the middle. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but that's like letting a right center back do what he wants to do. And then making sure you got that's when you would see Adams circle back behind Dest to make sure that chunk was covered, that piece of landscape. So, yes, who were the 4 at the back, the 4 in the middle, and the 2 at the top? Let's see.
We don't need to worry about the 4 back. The back line's obvious.
It's always the same. Yes.
The 4 in the middle. The 4 in the middle played with basically Musa and Adams.
Yep.
McKinney was more outright. Pulisic checked back a lot, and he got back on the defense quite a bit, but out left. He's a little more advanced than McKinney.
And then you had Haji and Weah up top, roaming together, not more than 30 yards apart in the middle of the park. That's a 4-4-2. And I said Brett was wrong when he sent that to me on text. And then I went back and watched it again. And I went, oh, Brett was right. See, sometimes you have to eat your words. And I didn't say you were wrong. I don't know. I think I said, well, looked like a 4-3-3 to me or something. But I went back and watched it because you said that. And you were right. I mean, the number of times it was shaped like that was pretty obvious. Pretty obvious.
Well,
so.
I mean, you go back and look. There were definitely times where Pulisic was in and around our box on the defense. Guess who rarely ever had to come back past our half, into our defensive third at least? Weah never got that far back.
It really looked like the times when Dempsey and Landon Donovan used to play in that 4-2-2-2. It really did. Yep.
100%.
Okay, what do we got next? Are we going to go over the Dutch team? Because I'm going to go over the whole Dutch team.
Yeah, we can jump right through them. So we'll talk about how we think we're going to come out and play, I guess.
Yeah, I hope we come out, and I think we will come out and play like we did versus England.
Yeah.
But here's the difference. This ain't your grandma's Dutch team.
No.
Right? I'm sorry. It's not. It doesn't even have any star players except for Virgil van Dijk. Maybe De Jong, and then maybe in a growing way, Gakpo. Really? Because he's had such a good World Cup. But, I mean, this team is full of...
Apparently he and Pulisic played on the same PSV youth team.
They did. I saw that from our not friend, Rongren. No, Noppert. Let's start with a goalkeeper. Noppert. Who the fuck is Noppert? Noppert plays for Heerenveen. This is the worst set of fucking Dutch goalkeepers I can remember in the last 30 years. They're all mediocre. All of them are. And you can say, oh, well, you don't watch enough Dutch league. I'm sorry. If you're like 28 years old or whatever he is, and you're still playing at fucking Heerenveen, not even fucking PSV or somebody else has bought you yet, and you have no sniff of fucking anywhere else, then you're not that good. And I watched the games, you're fairly average. They're pretty fair, but the goalkeepers don't matter for Holland. Why? Because the defense is so good. There aren't many shots that the goalkeepers, it's kind of like Matt Turner hasn't really do that much. I mean, he's had a couple moments, but even worse, these guys, you got in front of Noppert, you got probably for this game, he is giant man, Timber and Ake, and on the left, Virgil van Dijk. So they're going to do their usual 3-4-1-2. That's how they're going to come out. And Ake has played well this tournament. So has Virgil. The only guys I'm not sure if it's going to be like, is De Ligt going to play? And if he does, then you move Virgil van Dijk back to the right and Timber comes off. I don't know. We'll see. But I think it's going to be Virgil, Ake, Timber. And again, Virgil and Ake play on top teams. Not that Ajax is not a top team, but I'm used to years when everybody in the back that played for fucking Holland were all fucking playing in England or Italy, or that's what I'm used to. Like the best teams in the world. It's going to be Timber more than likely because he's played the last two games. Out left is their biggest weakness in the midfield, or if you want to call it the left wing back. That's Daley Blind. That old slow motherfucker's still playing, and he's still fucking starting, and he started every fucking game out left for them, and he's going to start again.
It's almost on cue. That was almost the perfect timing.
I agree, Chambers. This is where they are weak. We are going to burn them down on that, their left, our right. We're going to fucking torch them. Dest and fucking Weah, and coming up behind them, McKennie, they're going to torch these dudes outright. This is the biggest weakness of this team, because on the other side, you got Dumfries, and he's a good player, and he's athletic, and he's not going to be as easy to beat, as slow. In fact, I wish Blint played on
Pulisic side,
Robinson and Pulisic side, because that would be even more of a massacre than this is going to be. And so, and down the middle, you got De Jong and whoever the fuck they decide to throw in with them. It could be Cooper Mainers. It could be Berghus. I don't know how to pronounce all these names. And then they got another guy named De Ruyne. Two of these two that I mentioned are from Atalanta. They play in Italy. and the other one's another Ajax guy. This is just not like the fact that I'm reading this sheet and I'm like, who the fuck's that? And I got to look him up. Oh, he plays at Atalanta. I haven't watched a single Atalanta game except for the one versus Juventus this season. Or was it last season? Can't even remember. I had no idea who these dudes were. I don't know who they are. And I am used to a Dutch team full of dudes like where I know every single player on the team because they play on the biggest teams in the world. This is not that. Gakpo plays for PSV. Depay, of course, we all know who he is. Plays for Barca. He'll probably start up top with Gakpo, with Klaassen tucked in just behind them as the CAM. And if you didn't know, Klaassen's another Ajax player. I mean, this is just a team that is rather underwhelming. And if we lose to them, I'm fine with it. But I'm telling you on paper, it's not that huge of a fucking difference. If we can do it, what we did to England in the midfield, we got a good chance of doing it here again. I really think so. Because outside of De Jong, you got multiple characters rolling in and out of there in the center midfield next to him. They're not sure who their midfield is.
This is going to be my concern.
Yeah, mine too. But they have had a long break. We played Tuesday. They had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 days of rest. Not 3, 4. And if you read the research, 4 days of rest is the best. That's the peak amount of rest you can get before playing again. Like 3 is like, okay, there are going to be some guys who are going to be okay with that and some not. 2 is like fucking crazy. That's nuts shitty because you're going to be sore on the number 2 day still. You're still sore. Your muscles are still worn out. But I believe in our physios and I believe in the youth of this team. And I think we're going to be ready physically for this.
So
game.
you believe in our physios, so you're saying that Reina is not injured.
Reina is not injured and never was. But he might not be as fit in the sense that, and listen, I'm not sticking up for Berhalter here, but boy, he could learn a thing or two from me. He could have just said, listen, the way we're going to play in this World Cup is we're require, and it's been proven now by the number of miles our team has run during this World Cup. A lot of running. And that ain't one of Reina's specialties, because if you notice when he plays with Dortmund, he doesn't do a lot of running because they've got the ball most of the time. All right? He does a lot of standing. Well, there's no standing in this World Cup for any of our guys. They are balls to the walls, man. And the only guy who stood around last game was Wright. He's the only guy because he looked like he'd smoked a huge bowl of the best Jamaican shit ever. He got out there and was like, this is fun. I like watching this. No, dude, you're on the field. You got to play. Oh, but I like watching. No, play, motherfucker. All right, Chris Gary, will there be a Saturday show? Yes, the hell there will be. Well, Brett. Brett's going to a party on Saturday and ruining our show.
No, I'm just going to go off and hide in the closet and do a show.
Okay.
Who knows? I'm going to get there at 2:00, and it's like 6 hours there of me potentially drinking.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go slow and low.
I'm gonna have to. It's gonna do a slow burn. I'll pick it back up after the show, I guess. But
I mean, you could have like
self-check myself.
2 or 3 beers and maybe a hit or 2 off of EB's pipe, and you should be good to go. All right, Den Haag, Derek. That's the best analysis of the Dutch squad out of any American I've seen so far. Spot on, mostly. Well done. Thank you, Den Haag. I am assuming you are from Holland, or I'll say the Netherlands. Some people don't like when you call it Holland. That's old school. It's really the Netherlands, and I get it, but you are the orange. And I know why you're the orange, by the way, and most people don't. There was a guy. It's the Duke of Orange. Anybody know about him at the Battle of Waterloo? I do. Look him up, the Duke of Orange. He was a pretty important part of that battle. All right, on to other things. I'm not going to explain Dutch history at this point. It's ridiculous. All right, what do we got?
So who do you think we're gonna play against Holland?
Oh, our starting lineup, if healthy, the same fucking starting lineup as last time. It'll be exactly the same. There won't be a single change. Pulisic will start on the left. Sargent will start on the middle. The question is, what happens if they aren't healthy?
Well,
Then
I mean, I guess the other one is CCV still over Walker?
Yeah, I had that as a question mark too, but I think the answer is yes. I think CCV did nothing but show Greg that he was going to be mature and comfortable in the back and would not fuck up passes. He didn't have a fuck up.
Despite what Heath Pierce said.
I know. He said he still felt nervous.
He was
reactionary.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. CCV is not the kind of player who can be reactionary because he's slow. So he has
0 to 60 in 10 seconds.
Just like Ream, he has to read the game way ahead of itself. That can get you in trouble too, by the way, because you can make the wrong call.
And he almost did a couple times.
Yes, he did. And he did make me nervous because I'm not used to seeing him back there. But guess what? He didn't make me any more nervous than watching Zimmerman. I'll tell you that. The only thing I'd be worried about in this game, if in fact Holland played one of their old school tall guys in the middle, like Veghorst, is like, okay, now we got two guys that are 6 foot tall. We don't have Zimmerman 6'2" in there heading the ball off on set pieces. That does worry me a little, and I wonder if Greg will consider it, but he doesn't have to because Veghorst ain't playing. All right? He ain't playing. I don't even know how he made the team. Now, the other guy you're going to have to kind of look out for is that Bergwijn guy. He's really good. And then Jansen is a big boy, and I don't know if they're going to start Jansen up top, but if they do, then I'm starting to kind of like go, okay, that is a big boy. Our CCV,
they're going to try to Wales us? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, are CCV and Ream big enough to handle that guy? I think so, but because they're both at least CCV's built like a fucking tank. And he will probably, however, be playing more off of Ream than CCV. So that concerns me a little, but I don't know if Jansen's going to start because he started the first game and he's never started since. So there you go.
So if because Sargent and Pulisic are both day by day at this point, and I feel like Pulisic has a higher possibility of being available to play.
Yeah,
more so than Sargent.
His attitude was great today. But you said you saw Sargent playing pocket pool.
Pocket pool with
billiards,
with Ream. Yeah.
Billiards,
snooker.
They're totally different games, billiards and snooker, by the way. Very different games. And the balls are
poles.
The balls are the balls are smaller in England, where they play snooker. The balls are smaller in England.
Is it the game though with the red and white balls, or is that something different?
I don't know about the color of the balls. They could change, but I know the balls are smaller in England. Did I make that very clear?
The
balls are smaller in England.
So yeah, I think Pulisic will be there if Sargent's not there. Okay, so let's just say both aren't there. Let's go with that. Who are you starting at left?
If Pulisic can't play?
Yeah.
Aronson. And then in the middle, I'm starting Reyna. I know that was
over Sargent. I mean, let's say if Sargent can't play.
They're both injured. Let's say they're both
can't play. Yeah.
Reyna, I'm playing him as a false 9, and I'm playing Pulisic and way higher up the field together.
Bigger question though, Derek, is what will Greg do? Now, this is a big question because we found out that he's been 4D chessing us this entire time.
Yeah.
Do you think he will throw in an actual false 9 not named Ferreira?
I hope so. Ferreira's not got a minute in this tournament. At least Reyna has like some scratchy minutes in one game. And you know what Reyna can do. And it is way levels over what Ferreira can do at a false 9. I mean, it's levels beyond what Ferreira could ever wish and hope and imagine he could actually do in a Disney World land. Like, if they were both Jedis, like, Ferreira would be the Jedi who still hadn't learned how to use his lightsaber. All right. And Reyna would be striking him down. So I think that Reyna playing as a false 9 might be able to draw Van Dijk out maybe, or Ake out or somebody, but somebody's going to have to come out a little further because what we're talking about when I'm saying playing a false 9, I'm actually almost saying that we should
10.
play. He should play a 10. Correct. And have Pulisic and Weah further up, or not Pulisic. If Pulisic's injured, it's Aronson and Weah higher up the field than Reyna. Yes,
through those channels.
But I have to say, Mr. Hogg, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't. If it does, I will bow down to Greg. I will say, Greg, I was so fucking wrong about you. You're still a liar, but I have to say, you got it tactically correct.
Reyna is tall.
He's
Just
6'2".
Just not necessarily known for his aerial prowess.
He doesn't get in he's not in there scrumming it up with the big boys. He's still kind of lanky.
Well, I guess to be fair on that Reyna's used to taking the free kicks and the corner kicks, and
yes,
so he's not used to going up for headers. And
oh, by the way, that's the other benefit of having him start. I mean, listen, if you had to rate all the corner kick takers or the set piece takers on our team, it's Reyna, Aronson, Pulisic. No. It's Reyna, Acosta, Aronson, Pulisic. Pulisic might not even be the fourth best, because I think if you let Ream kick the fucking corner kicks, he would be better than Pulisic at them. Even though
you just take one of your taller guys in the air out. Somebody's used to going up for headers. That would suck, but
although Pulisic did redeem himself versus England a bit on the set pieces, so
yeah,
they weren't awful. Let's just put it that way. Pulisic is not missing this game. I agree with you, so let's put him back on the field, Brett, because I think the guy to worry about is Sargent, and I'm not even sure I'm worried about that, because when Berhalter was asked about it today, he's like, are they going to play, and are they going to be good to go? And Berhalter's like, I'm not telling you. Why would I tell you? Because
I want to give the Dutch a couple of days of time to prep.
Yeah, let them prep for Aronson and fucking Reyna.
Yeah.
Or Ferreira or whatever. Let them be confused for a little bit. I'm not telling them they're going to be good to go. And I agree with them on that one.
Yeah.
This is not a time for transparency. Football moments. Aronson takes corners at Leeds. I know he does. And he's fairly okay at them. He's not great, but pretty good. And Ream has taken dead balls for the national team before. Yes, he has. And, when they get the middle of the field free kick, you'll often for Fulham see Ream come up and take that middle of the field free kick because he's good at it. Just look at his passing.
Yes.
Oh my
that's
God.
all it is. It's a long pass. That's what he's strong at.
Yeah, but we're not bringing Matt Turner up to take corner kicks.
Could you imagine Turner running back?
He could do it, but I wouldn't recommend it.
You think Dest plays the full 90?
I don't think so.
I don't think he has he?
No, he hasn't. I don't think
what about England? Did he play the full 90 there? No, because that was Moore's played twice and Yedlin's played once. So I don't think Dest does.
It's a fitness issue. Oh, by the way, Herc got that totally wrong in an argument versus Seb.
He played 90 minutes or whatever?
No, he said Yedlin hasn't played a minute in this World Cup.
Yeah, that was a yes. I remember
and Seb's like, yeah, he has. And he's like, no, he hasn't. And he's like, oh, maybe he hasn't. Seb just totally
very forgettable.
Seb just totally broke down and went, maybe my memory sucks.
I almost wonder if Herc was actually thinking of Scally instead of Yedlin. But I don't know. The game's when you're watching all the games and you're broadcasting as much as they do, it can blend together.
I guess so. But for me, Des has not finished a game, but I think Des can go 75-80. I think then he might. It just depends, because Des might be more fired up for this game than any game he's ever played in his life. He's playing against the country of not his birth, but the country of his raising. I think it could be of his birth too. It's just that one of his parents is American, or has an American.
I think he was born there. Yes.
Yeah.
So he also I forgot who said it. Who talked about Des? I forgot who it was, but we talked about this last show, I think. But basically, that they said hey, I like this is I think it was one of the Dutch players. I can't think of who it was though. He was like, hey, I like Des. He's a good player, but he's got to stay in his lane. Basically saying he's not as good as you think he is. And then paraphrasing here, of course.
I'm trying to remember who that was. Yeah, we brought that up in the show before. I would just disregard that shit.
No, but I'm to your point though. He might that might work to stoke the fires a little bit longer in that match because he was like, "Fuck you, I want to show you."
I read the CBS ratings
There
article.
it is. What was Vanderfart?
I read the CBS ratings article, and it said it gave Des like a 7 in the game versus, was it England or Iran? I can't remember. But either way, it said, as usual, really good going forward, horrible on defense. What? I was like, what are you talking about? He has not been horrible on defense so far. He's
Wait,
actually
who are you talking about?
CBS ratings article. Can't remember who wrote it.
Yeah.
And the guy's probably happy I don't remember his name because then
Looking it up right now.
I'd be like, you fucking, that's just like, you're just saying that.
What's that saying? Whose defense though?
Guest.
Oh,
He's
okay.
like, good going forward, but as usual, culpable playing defense. I'm like, no.
I feel like he wasn't watching the match. He's going off of what he remembers
Score
from
box.
qualifying.
Yeah, score box and just what he's read before or what he's heard. Oh, he's good going forward and not good on defense. So I'm putting it in my article. Really, dude? Come on. He has not been bad playing defense so far in this World Cup. Not for the majority.
This has been one of the revelations that randomly, out of nowhere, and maybe it's him just recovering from his injury, and Berhalter maybe sat him down and said, "Hey, pick your runs. I don't want you running up all the time. I need you in there majority of the game." But for whatever reason, randomly his game plan with the United States has changed from that, because we talked about it earlier during qualifying when he was playing in qualifiers. We're all sitting there going like, man, when he actually plays against quality talent in the World Cup, that side's going to get burned because he's going to be caught up by their box, and it's going to leave that entire right side wide open. That was everybody's concern.
But not been the case.
Not been the case, yeah. His defense has been pretty freaking solid.
Yep.
And him choosing his runs has made him a solid player this World Cup.
He was really good against Iran in that first half. Holy shit, was he good. Hey, listen, when commoners like my parents watch a game, and they're not massive soccer fans, I mean, they've been watching soccer for a long time, but, you still have to explain shit to them. And they say, wow, Des is a really good player. And I'm like, oh, you noticed? Yes. That stands out to me. It's like if common people who don't even know the players, because they didn't even know his name, they're like, that Jest, dude, he's really good. You mean Dest? Oh yeah, Dest. Yes. My parents still don't know all the players' names. So we're working on that. Nate says, hey, stop using my words, Brett. What words?
Yeah, and just above it, he talks about how Dest is the 5th most influential player for sure, and such a revelation. I'm pretty positive I said revelation in there somewhere.
You stealer of words.
I'm looking at this chat, and I'm stealing all your guys' comments. So keep them coming, guys. Make me look smart.
That's an automatic F in college, Brett. Plagiarism. All right. Loose cut.
Hold on. Here we go.
It's Iran. You're Iran, not I. Well, you got
Iran, not Iran, Derek.
Sorry, I still say Iran and Iran sometimes. Loose cunt. Not something you'll need KY for. I really believe that we can do this. I do too. We probably are better in the midfield. And yes, I do. And we could go toe-to-toe with our front line. However, their center backs are world class. They are definitely the favorites. I hear that Sucker von my dick from Atalanta will start at left back. Well done, Mitch. And I didn't even have to look. I knew that was Mitch.
Yeah, of course.
Greg Clownhalter says the question we all want to know the answer to. What are the plans for the channel after our run in the 2022 World Cup? We're going to stick around. I don't know how. We'll figure it out.
It's going to be a lot of club ball. And then we're going to be jumping right back in the Nations League. There's going to be friendlies. Copa's around the corner. I'm sure we're going to be partaking in that.
Yeah, we'll be around. We're not going to leave.
Go around. Yeah, we covered the national team games, but we also covered a lot of European clubs as well. And I know I bitched and complained about the Apple pricing and stuff like that, but I may take our credit card and pony up some $14 so we can watch.
Well, if you're going to do it, I am too.
You don't have to. We'll just get one on the card, and then we'll have the same login. Because you and I won't watch Chicago Fire at the same time.
No, I'll be watching different games. Yeah,
I'll watch Fire at a different time. You'll watch a game at a different time. It won't matter. We'll do that.
You'll watch bad soccer, and I'll watch A little less bad soccer.
Yeah,
With the
I
LA
plan on
Galaxy.
doing some more Chicago content next season.
I like to
more,
watch.
more than one video would be more at this point. So
I like to watch the Red Bulls, Philadelphia, and LA Galaxy. Those are teams I follow. So, and Indy 11, by the way, but I only watch those on local TV. Right. So we'll be around, Clown Holter.
yeah, we saw that.
Yep,
We saw
already
this
saw
last
Mhm.
show.
Yes.
Still gets me.
If Josh Sargent can't start, I'd like us to not force in Haji or Jesus. Of course, it'll never happen, but I think it would work. Pulisic, way up top. Okay, that's a little defensive for me, but okay. It's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah, I think that's too much defense. I don't think we need that much defense.
Well, I mean, Des and Robinson would be more like up here.
Yeah, I know. They're still going to be up there, but I don't think we need Zimmerman. Give us another. Take him off and give us another midfielder.
Yeah, I think the back three of Ream, Vickers, and Dest has been pretty solid.
That's good enough. We don't need five
Keep
of those.
McKinney
fuckers.
on Dest's side, so when Dest does go up, McKinney can bounce back a little bit, just cover, I guess. And then throw in. We need the problem is the reason we're not creating a lot of chances. We just don't have a super creative midfielder or somebody around the midfield area, and that's why that concept of having Reina right about here would be perfect. I mean, McKinney can, as we saw in the Iran game, McKinney can launch a nice ball.
So move Pulisic to the left, put Weah up top, put Reina underneath him, or move Weah out wide and put Reina underneath both of them.
Just scoop Pulisic and Weah out a little bit. Put Reina right here.
Right, and get rid of Zimmerman. That's just too much defense. It's not necessary. I don't think we're going to play that defensive. I'd be shocked if we did. I think that's a waste of offense.
I think you're right. I think the way we play against Iran is probably going to be the route we go. And the only reason we would change that is if Sargent's not available.
Yeah, exactly.
Or hell, we may play that anyways and may have to throw in either a Jesus or a Haji at that point.
Maybe. I hope not. But hope not.
Chris
Whatever.
Gary says this. From November of 2021, how the tables have turned, as Michael Scott would say.
Manuel Weiss, our friend at Transfer Market, says, although I guess he's just my friend because you don't know him. I do think it is unfair. UEFA should have more than 13 guaranteed spots. That's where the money and the best teams are. Just look at Italy and Portugal. Their combined squad value is almost twice the octagonal teams combined. Manuel, you couldn't be more wrong.
It just means a lot of players are overpaid in England.
No fucking shit. Who's out?
Who's
out? Germany's out. Germany's out. Who else is
Belgium.
out? Belgium's out.
Denmark?
Denmark's out. Everybody thought Denmark was going to jizz all over the fucking Queen's gold. No, they can't even get out of their group. Come on, dude. 3 teams that were lackluster, didn't perform well, looked like shit. Fuck those teams. They're out. They can suck it. Wales sucks. They were awful. I know we only tied them, but they're still god awful. Fuck this. You get no more than 13. No. Sorry, Manuel. Come on and debate us on the show, brother. I'll fucking give you a call or text you.
I think 13's enough. I mean, you guys can battle out for those spots and everything. Let the rest of the world have a team or two, you know? Yeah,
it's called the World Cup, not the European Championship with a few teams thrown in. All right? Thank you.
Like, you throw the thank you as if we're having a debate, like, blah, 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 blah. Thank you.
All right, even Sattervines fan says recency bias has gotten to the pundits and some of the fans. We could be doing a lot better than we are. Yes, we could. That's true. We have the talent and depth to make subs and still look dangerous. But when you sub a failed La Liga 2 player like Mora on over Scally, it says a lot about your manager. Yeah, it's not good. And, I mean, if Mora come on and at least been competent the first time he came on, it would not make it look so bad when he came on the second time and failed to be competent.
It strikes me as odd, and especially if you're talking about taking over for Des, who's been sitting back more. than he used to. So you want your right back to say sit back more, let Jedi have free run. Okay. Well, I mean, that's basically what Scally does for Gladbach anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So he's playing at a consistently higher level. Not only is he playing, but he's playing like 90 minutes a game.
I mean,
again, and you have
Moore was a second-rate player in La Liga 2. A second-rate player. He didn't even start regularly.
Yeah, he had like a 3 or 4 game window towards the end of the season that he got consistent 90-minute starts. But then the rest of the season, he wasn't either not playing or playing bit minutes.
It's a joke. And all right, did he have an okay MLS season? He did. He had a great Gold Cup.
But Scally had a fairly reliable Bundesliga season.
Well, and last season he
Reliable.
was on Bundesliga Team of the Week a number of times.
Twice.
So twice. I thought it was more,
I
but
thought it was twice.
oh well. I knew it was more, but
That's a lot more than Moore will ever get. He will never play in the Bundesliga. He will never make fucking team of the week, the team of the month, or the team of the minute, or the team of the second. For Moore, will not make any of those teams in the Bundesliga. He will never play there, frankly, and he never played any more than 2 La Liga. Okay, so you're comparing apples to oranges. Now, Berhalter could say, well, I had tactical reasons to do that, but that doesn't make any sense. So there.
no, it could be tactical that you put in, say, a Costa in the midfield because you wanted to go more defensive and you want to shore up the win. You know, than say throwing in a Reyna up top and putting Aronson into the midfield or something like that.
I meant tactically for him as a team spirit sort of thing.
Oh.
Hey, we need to have more playing because he tells better jokes than Scally does. I don't know. I can't think of a reason. What an idiot. All right. Sean Weeks, U.S. men's national team have a real chance of making the quarterfinals and setting themselves up for a big 2026 unless Triple G is the coach for 2026. And by the way, Sean Weeks, if Triple G wins this game versus Holland, he will be your manager for 2026. I'm sorry to break it to you and Brett, but that's how this is going to roll.
I've started finding more and more people on Twitter that are part of the one cycle club. So
that's convenient, but
it's
it's convenient, but it's not a reality. If he wins this game, Berhalter, he's supposed to get out of the group. That's not a big deal. He wins this next game versus Holland. Oh shit! Get ready for it. He's going to be re-signed. Bar was so full with the Germans.
Were they drinking their woes? No.
Well, he's in Germany, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Then there are going to be a lot of Germans there, dude. You mean sad Germans? Yes, I think that's what he's getting at.
Yeah, maybe that's what
sad Germans drinking their tears away. This is the second World Cup in a row they have not got out of the group stage. That's for me. I was talking about this to you the other day. It's like, man, I can't believe it. It's possible that Germany and the United States could get knocked out of the group stage. This is before the Iran game. I said, I'm going to be really bummed. You know, I don't know what I'm going to watch. I'm going to watch it, but I'm not going to have like a heart on while I watch it, you know? So, yeah, it's good. They're both. One of them made it.
Let's say Germany, and I don't know if you've watched the German game or not, but they did their part.
Then Spain farted one. Yeah, I can see the score now. It's 2-1, and I missed both goals during the show. I have to go back and watch it again.
No. Yeah, but I mean, talking about like the doing your part and missing out on stuff like that. A lot of the talk now, because obviously there's a bunch of U.S. fans on Twitter that are reveling in the fact that Canada, who talked a loud game, we're the second team to go out in the World Cup, and now Mexico's out. Little tiny smoky. So they're giving they're just throwing a couple of jabs their way, and then a guy came out and was like, you guys didn't even qualify for 2018, and I responded somebody who quote tweeted that. Didn't Mexico almost not qualify for the 2014 until we scored 2 90-minute goals against Panama?
Dude, he's talking about 2018. You should have just said the following 2 letters. S, capital S, and then O. So that's it.
Yeah.
It's the end of that response. So what?
That's the thing. People are like, dude, that was 4 years ago.
Yeah. Get over it. We're talking about right
We're in the
now.
now. Yeah.
We're talking about right now, genius.
All right, USAX back.
There is no way in the world that Pulley isn't ready for this game. Correct. Especially Takuva. That dark cloud is finally gone. Blue skies for the Saturday, for this Saturday and beyond.
Well, there's definitely going to be. Well, there's definitely going to be blue skies in Qatar. I mean, they don't get cloud coverage there.
That's how they used to read those news clips in the 50s.
Yeah,
really
high pitched noise. We're talking about Andy's tires.
Yeah, here we go. I can't wait to see what these boys will look like in 2026 with a new manager. Hopefully, USSF doesn't fuck us over again. They probably will. There we go. That's 1950 style news reading. Even Sattervine, man, this guy's going on, huh? U.S. men's national team carrying CONCACAF. Also, Greg looks like this. What is that?
He kind of does.
Oh, yeah, he does look like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's from Lilo and Stitch, by the way.
Oh, okay. Alex Martinez. What do you tell a kid that tries out for a freshman team in high school and gets cut? My manager's kid got cut yesterday. If my kid doesn't make it, I'm going to spank him. Joking. My manager's kid got cut. My manager's kid.
Yeah, there's nothing to read into this. He's basically saying that his kid got cut. What do you tell a kid that got cut, basically?
Oh, his bosses, his manager at work.
Yeah.
His kid got cut yesterday. And if my kid doesn't make it, I'm going to spank him. The coach? Okay. I go for it. I say spank the coach. That's nicer than spanking your kid.
My suggestion would be to go to have your kid go to a small school that he guarantees to play.
Well, that's winning. Alex, don't spank the coach. Don't spank your kid. Spank your monkey. I think that'll work better. And everyone will be safe. But don't put your eye out. All right. We done? We done yet?
Let's just make sure that nothing pops up here.
Hosea Lopez. I love that name. Hosea. If we advance to the semifinals, we should just all cut our ball sacks off and hand them to Pulisic. What? No. I barely get mine during a serious medical instance. I am keeping these. No way am I giving these up.
Chris Gary says, breaking, Gio is smiling.
Where?
Look at that.
Oh, there he is.
Happy little guy.
Somebody gave him a joint before the game. It was probably Reem. Because his sitter, remember? Yeah. Reem's like, listen, dude, lighten up. Here, take a few hits.
Let's just see. There's one. I think there's one more left, and there was just a like. Okay. That's all, folks.
Brando liked.
Brando liked it. Yep.
Excuse me, that's the name of my band. That seems a little weird.
Brando, let me see. Let's see. Indie music rock. Derek Ritchie.
Has he bought one of my albums yet? All right. Anyhow,
I don't know if he doesn't follow us. So hey, Brandon, get on it.
All right. Hey, folks, we will be back when I don't know. I think at 8:15 after the game on Saturday. Right, Brett?
That's the plan, Stan.
Brett's going to find a closet with his laptop, and we're going to do the show. I will be here as normal. Well, not as normal because I was at my parents' during the weekend. But, you're going to play this? All right.
We'll play it on the out.
We will end the show with the first single from my brand new album since 2004. And this was written in 2004, so I guess it's not new, but it's new to people who haven't heard it before. All right, until the next time on the Straight Red Card, we'll see you Saturday. Go USA.
But she's a trap.
She's an unsung novel, turn a lap and get your whole world dazzled on the line, or a phone call with or without wine. Oh, I'm a star, I'm a magazine hero in a bar, I'm a faceless hero in a bind. I can add 1 and 1, it equals 2. I feel it turning around, I know there's nothing new underneath your guile. She's a crown, she's a crown. She's a crown on the crest of winds. She's a trap, she's an unsung novel, turn a lap and get your whole world dazzled on the line, or a phone call with or without wine. I'm a star, I'm a magazine zero in a bar, I'm a faceless hero in a bind. I can add 1 and 1, it equals 2. She's a crown, she's a crown. She's a crown on the crest of winds. You're gonna do her. Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that?
Wasn't me.